Sorry, we're up
I can
against
hear
it,
you.
Harry. Kasper Schmeichel. A lot of comments coming in on him. How did you interpret the booing of him, and what did you think of his performance?
I think so. This isn't the first time that Kasper Schmeichel has been booed at Celtic Park. You'll recall after the Rangers game in January, Wilfred Nancy's final match in charge, I think Schmeichel was at fault for Rangers' third, and behind the section behind the goal, which I think is a Lisbon Lions stand, there was literally thousands of fans booing him then. And I was genuinely gobsmacked. I'd never, been coming to Celtic Park for years. I'd never seen that at all. Fans turning against their own players, especially during an Old Firm game. Tonight it happened again. I think Schmeichel, the way I've interpreted it, I think he was at fault for 2 of the 3 goals. He's clearly getting issue with the left-hand side. I know he's obviously taking shoulder injections in the minute, but he's far too slow to react. And it's not as if they were nestled into the bottom corner or top on a postage stamp. They were more or less right through the middle. And I'm afraid I think Kasper Schmeichel's best days are long behind him. I think he's becoming a liability for Celtic, both domestically and in Europe. And there comes a point when the manager has to make a decision. You've got Sinisalo, who was brought in as a deputy to Schmeichel to learn from him, with the view to becoming Celtic's number 1 when Schmeichel eventually retires. There's absolutely no way that Schmeichel is going to be here at Celtic Park next season. So Martin O'Neill, in my view, has got a decision in his hands. Does he stick or twist? Because in a minute, once the fans turn against you, I don't think there's any way back, to be honest. And it's a mistake every month, if not every few weeks for Schmeichel at the minute. He's become a real problem for Celtic, and it's no wonder they're leaking goals left, right, and centre. So for me, I think if I was the manager, I'd be going with Sinisalo from now on.
Yeah, look, guys, I think that is a decision that Martin O'Neill's going to have to confront now. Going into this really important stretch of games, Stuttgart away, but obviously Aberdeen away, Rangers away, all coming up. I actually would go further than that, Ryan. I don't want to get involved in a pile-on in Kasper Schmeichel, because I really rate him. I think he's been a massive contributor to Celtic over the last while. But I actually thought he made 2 mistakes for the first goal. I think his clearance was terrible. I think he played his own team into trouble with that kind of half-hearted clearance. Big German central defender got up, won the header. Easily. It was like taking candy off a baby, going up above Taneke. That put Celtic on the back foot. The defence had to swivel, and then the shot goes straight through him. And if there is an injury issue, and we've heard about this on the left-hand side, his shoulder, surely by now Celtic's medical department have to have kind of researched this or dug into it, because it is every time on his left-hand side. Fraser, you're a goalkeeper. Does he look to you as if he's a bit of a lame duck here?
I just start saying I'm a step down for Ryan here, so that's the truth of the matter. But unfortunately, step's too small.
I've got still on.
Look, as somebody that played at a level probably 7 levels below Kasper Schmeichel, I think you're being generous to yourself there. Maybe 8 or 9 actually. Aye. But look, my shoulders went, and I can tell you it doesn't matter what level you play at. If you've got shoulder problems, that's a serious issue for a goalkeeper, and it's both sides. More importantly, at the side that you're landing on, that just a fraction of a second, if that delays your dive, then you're in trouble. And that's what all these goals that have question marks over them for Schmeichel, they all raise questions over his injury for me. The one in the first half, where the boys shot back across him. You're right, Keith, it's his own poor clearance. It starts the move for Stuttgart. But I could see what the boy was going to do before he shot, and I'm sure Schmeichel could as well, and he just couldn't react quick enough. I thought, and going back to Saturday actually at Rugby Park, I thought his footwork was a problem. He couldn't get his feet moving quickly back enough to get the dive in. And then the third one tonight, that was down to his right, and again, it's come through a ruck of bodies, but it skipped up right over his hand, and again, it just looks like it's a fraction of a second too late in reacting to it.
You might not have seen, guys, but the TV replays showed it's straight through him again, but what he's actually attempted to do is bat it away with his right hand. And rather than just make the save. Now, to me, it looks like a routine save, but he's tried to bat it with his right arm. and you get under the
your
ball.
hand's smaller when you do that.
Yeah, and
he's going with a smaller hand. Well, again, that makes me think he's not got a lot of confidence in the strength in his shoulder and his arm, and he's actually trying to get a fist it rather than his full hand. But, I just felt with the booing of him, which is a sad sight, it just had a whole end of days kind of feel for Kasper Schmeichel tonight. I do believe this is a season too far for him, but I think it also raises questions about whether they have faith in Sinisalo to put him in at such an important point of the season. He came in because Schmeichel had to sit out at Livingston just after Christmas, and to be fair, he let 2 goals in and didn't really do much else in Sinisalo that day. He didn't really have much chance for the goals. But I don't know, I feel like there's a lack of faith in putting him in there, and I do feel as if they're just going to go with Schmeichel for the rest of the season. But in this form, it could end up costing them the title.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I don't think Sinisalo's a world beater by any matter of means, and to be honest, I don't really think he's been a standout in any of the games he has played. Fraser referenced the game against Livingston. I think pre-season as well, he didn't look too comfortable. So he's not, for me, he's not a long-term answer. But the way Schmeichel's playing at the minute, I do think he's an upgrade. I can't lie.
There was problems beyond Schmeichel tonight, though. Let's not kid ourselves. Stuttgart were a level above.